Hello everyone, welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot and welcome to a super special reading. So it's Saturday, and as if that wasn't special enough, I am here with the announcement about our membership. So I will give you the announcement, and then it's also the day for our thank you reading. So this is the one, once a month I like to do a thank you reading where you don't have to go anywhere else to get the extended. Just sit still or sit where you are and you'll be able to have the thank you reading, and then I will shuffle the cards right here on the video and then lay out the extended right after, so there's no need to go anywhere. So I'm going to start out with the announcement, like I said, before I jump into the reading. And right off the bat, I will tell you we have a little bit of a direction change. So it seems like we should have invited Facebook to participate in our little poll, because as it turns out, they're not going to allow me to create what it is that we wanted at this time. So when we did the poll, we had the 48 votes on YouTube. You'll have seen those on the poll that I did. And then there were another 67 votes from people who wrote me notes and wanted to be more specific. So I added it up. It was a total of 115 votes in total. Facebook won, but not by a ton. It ended up with 53% of the vote. YouTube got 44, and then we had 3 people that had kind of some other ideas, so that was our other 3%. So in the end, Facebook and YouTube were reasonably close. There were lots of people who chose one, but then said that you didn't really have a preference. So there were some people also who said, I don't use Facebook at all, and we know that everyone uses YouTube because you're here. So the decision from Facebook really is what clinched it for us, but we're going to start this out here on YouTube. So I thought about it for a little bit. I did a little bit more research, and I found out we can do exactly what you asked for here, and then some. So it's going to be a better option even than I had thought. We're going to take this in stride, not look back in the just kind of in the same tone that we do everything else here. We're still going to get what we're after. We're going to reframe it, and we're going to be happy with the lessons. So anyway, you know, what we really wanted was a place for this collective to come together and just be together. So you guys had asked for a private place to have discussions, to support one another, to share stories, resources, ideas. And so you also voted to have readings that are like live group readings, but interactive, so you can comment during the readings with your input, with your questions. So that is what we're after, and that's what we're going to do to start out. Of course, it is a work in progress, so if we see something we want to change, want to add, then we'll do what we need to do, make the adjustment. And so we're going to start that conversation right in the group this weekend with those of you who decide to join. And to be abundantly clear, if you don't sign up as a member, absolutely nothing changes. The channel stays exactly the same for you as it has always been. It would be the same YouTube videos, the same extended readings out on Vimeo for you to have them when you want them. Nothing changes there. You can still go to Etsy for a personal reading. All of it's exactly the same. You still get these videos. So you don't have to do anything. But if you do decide to sign up as a member, this is a bonus. So it's more of a personal, private experience with just this collective and me, so we can chat directly, rather than doing it publicly where the YouTube videos will continue to be. So everyone can see these, but here it would be a closed group. So I will have a little bit more time carved out in my schedule. So I made the commitment, and I'm supported in that commitment. So I can go live and interact with you directly. So I think this week, or maybe it's a 2-week thing, we might even do a raffle for a personal live Zoom reading here. Of course, you get some perks, ideas, they just kind of keep coming. So remember, you can always cancel it if you don't want it. So if you get in there, you go a couple months and say, oh, no, this isn't for me, you're able to just cancel it, and that's it. So to become a member, you click the join button. It's down there next to the subscribe on the YouTube page. And so there's going to be 2 tiers of service. In tier 1, You get the usual YouTube member type things. If you're a member of other places, you see that there are these badges, emojis. So I'm not really going to pass up those. I know those maybe are not a big thing, but I'm just going to do them because they're fun and they're colorful and you can use them if you want. You get to chat and have discussions with the collective and with me. So that would be members only videos, members only live streams. So those are live video chats, readings that are just like this, but where I would be able to answer your questions that you're chatting in. And of course, as a member, if you can't make it to that, you would still be able to see it. You would see the questions and you would be able to ask questions for the next one. So that's tier 1. In tier 2, you get those same things, but you would also get early access to the daily YouTube videos where possible. So sometimes I admit I'm sliding in here on my knees and I can't do it, but many days we can get it to you a little bit earlier. So the other thing on this, you get a monthly personal reading from me on the topic of your choice. So this is similar to the readings that I do on my Etsy page. Link is down below if you just want to learn more about those, or if you've never gotten one, or if you haven't gotten one lately, since they've been upgraded recently. So if you want to learn more about that. But that is what's added within tier 2. So it's everything within tier 1. And then you get early access to videos where I can give it to you, and then a monthly personal reading. So that's kind of a big deal. It's a big change. So I think that's it. Come join up. We'll get started over the weekend. Just kind of thinking about all the cool things that we're going to do on there, because this is our chance to start talking about it and for me to really start customizing it for you. So I cannot wait for this. It's been all week. I've been just super excited. And then we had our direction change and I felt kind of bad. And then all of a sudden things got way better. So it's been a long time coming. Super excited. But now I'm going to get on with the reading for today. So that's going to be our thank you reading, which, like I said, means it has that extended attached right there to the end. So no need to go to the Vimeo for that extended today. And I could not be more thankful for this collective. You guys inspire me. You're inspiring me to put in more of my personal time. Whether it is, you know, it's you guys inspire me in so many different ways. You've got dedication to your healing. It's the way you support each other, the way you support me, the way you support the world around you. You guys are so wonderful. My heart is bursting with amazement and love for you guys. So I'm really happy to start this collective experience in the YouTube memberships, and super happy to put out this reading today. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. And I can now say with a slightly different feel to it that this is a general reading for this collective, because this collective is about to start forming up in a slightly different way. But if you're new here, hold on to your hat. All of these readings are very much connected. There's been a lot going on here. We're going to do a general reading to jump into it and just kind of see what's going on. If you're new, you may want to get caught up with some of the older readings. So I'm going to read for you with the Tarot of the Sacred Kingdoms over here. And then this is the Baroque Tarot deck. And then here we have the Sacred Forest Oracle for when we get to the point where we have our oracle. So I think I'm going to start with this one. And I'm actually going to grab a quick drink because I just talked a lot. I know I always talk a lot, but that was super exciting. So hang on. Okay. So we're going to start out by just kind of looking at the general energy that's happening ever since yesterday. We've had a lot of this energy of your soulmate wanting to come your way, and it seems like it's popping up in some different places. But they seem to be like coming your direction in spite of what's going on with the third party, almost like they're in denial about it. The concept of denial came out, sense of triggering. I have an Ace of Wands. There's that self-destructive piece. Little bit of lack of confidence. But they had a lot of reverence for you. I remember the feeling of reverence. The word reverence came up several times. 3 of Pentacles. They're feeling a little self-destructive, but they also recognize on some level that the two of you just really work out well together. You have a nice energy together, but not one that they're able to access right now. With the Temperance card in the reverse, there's something here about the rest of their life really just kind of not accommodating what they want with you right now. Even though with the 3 of Pentacles, it's, wow, everything works really well together. We work really well together. And with that Ace of Wands, yeah, I'm willing to make some decisions that might kind of mess my life up a little bit for a while. There's something there about that. There's something there about their life doesn't accommodate it. And it's like they're almost under the surface going to war with it, knowing that there is this energy of you inspiring them in the background. And the way that works, this 3 of Pentacles is their memory of how well things work with you. Like that, just that feeling of things working incredibly well. When they stand next to you, they just kind of feel unbeatable. There's something about them that feels stronger when they're with you. And that's what's bringing them along to be able to go to war with this concept. It isn't as noble as all of that, but it is definitely that you have inspired them on a very significant level. So they've got some anxiety on their side. They're wanting to come together with you, but they really kind of struggle with letting those guards down and have a good conversation with you. So again, we see that concept of them wanting to move your direction, but not having a great plan for what to do when they get there. A lot of fantasy energy, a lot of that fantasy energy kind of feeling like that may be what's drawing them through the process or enabling them to kind of move through it a little bit more easily. And I won't say it's easy. They're having to maintain a really high level of secrecy for the type of inner work that they're doing, and they're gathering new perspectives to themselves, but there's such a lack of comfort here, and just kind of that sense of triggering, that lack of confidence, wanting to move your direction. They want to get close to you. But remember, in the extended, we saw they want to move close to you. And this is the extended from yesterday. If you haven't seen it, it was about how they wanted to get close to you, but they didn't really want to do the work. If I had to summarize, you know, there's a lot of details that showed up in there, but they want to be close, but they don't want to get vulnerable is really what it comes down to. But this ends up like this High Priestess. When it came out, immediately what it felt like to me was like a woman wearing a skirt that is a little bit too revealing, and she's trying not to let it be. So it's just constantly like making little adjustments, trying to sit a certain way, walk a certain way, pull it down. It's an uncomfortable place to be when the thing doesn't fit right, or doesn't fit the way that you want it to fit. And way too much attention being paid to kind of keeping the lower profile. There's a lot here about wanting to keep a lower profile, but they're still trying to get away with something, and it's not entirely on the up and up. There's something here about trying to keep balance, and it really reminds me of like a person who has a life that they don't want to upset, but they want to make some very significant changes to it. You know, I don't want to lose my livelihood, but I got to get out of this job, you know, or I got to change jobs, or something that feels like a fairly massive change. Leaving a relationship that has children in it, you know, walking away from a parent who has always been a part of your life, but has maybe been a little bit of a toxic part of your life, or doesn't have to be a parent. It could be any family member. I remarked to one viewer the other day that, you know, sometimes it's just that aunt that's really judgy, you know, and, you know, it could be a brother or a sister. I do a lot of the personal readings for people, and I know that the piece with, family weighs very heavily, because those are people that are just sort of built in for you, and it's not always harmonious. So here's the thing. There is a weight being lifted, but it's not necessarily lifted in the right place. So reminds me a little bit of like a person who's waiting tables and they're carrying a tray and there are a bunch of drinks on it. And as they're walking through the room, people are trying to pull drinks off of the tray, and it starts to get a little bit out of balance. So weight is being lifted, but not necessarily in the right places, and it's not generating a very good balance. So that's what we're seeing here. There's a lot of desire for balance, but that balance can really only be maintained in the day-to-day in this energy. So this is a, it's that energy of emotionally living paycheck to paycheck. Here we have the Death card. Change is in the air. I got that Tower feeling in the air too, that different type of change. It's a little bit more bring everything down to the foundation so that it has to be built back up. This type of change is more something ending so that something else can grow in its place. And those two things they have a lot of overlap in concept. But what happens here is the realization on your person's side of the changes that have to happen. So they recognize it, but I see that with the new perspective, but I don't necessarily see that they know what that path looks like going forward. And that may be the super tricky bit. Here with the Queen of Wands, there's a lot of passion to move forward, but with the Ace of Wands in the reverse that we had over here, not necessarily in the right direction. Still a lot of self-destructive energy. And so if you get really quiet and you listen to the energy and you feel the energy that's coming from them, you will notice it's oozing forth, but there's something that's not quite, there's something that's not quite right with it, or something that doesn't quite feel, is not confident about itself. Yeah, they're a little bit too vested in the thing that's happening with the third party. So remember last weekend we had some sort of break, and it was like an emotional break, but it was happening with the third party, something that was never going to be the same. And it was I'm leaving this job, but I haven't done it yet. Or I'm leaving this marriage, but I haven't done it yet. And so here, the Nine of Cups in the reverse is very much it's acknowledgement of what makes them unhappy in the situation. Honest to goodness, it's that acknowledgement and not being able to get away from it. That is also part of this new perspective. So your person has a fairly hefty new perspective coming into this energy. And I think that's part of why, yesterday it was, they're going to come at you with a slightly different angle, but they're still lacking perspective. Several perspectives that need to coalesce for them, but something important has or is in the process. Still, they're feeling a lot of struggle, a lot of a sense of, but they're not ready to make a decision or create an obligation for themselves. So there's still some of that. That's energy of now. Let's get into a little bit more of what's happening with them, especially given this new perspective. And I'm just kind of rolling with it because we've got a couple of formats of readings that we go with, and I never know which one I'm going to do until I get here in front of you. So we got the Two of Wands in reverse. Two of Wands in reverse is about not having made, so they're definitely, there's a lot of change in them. There's a lot of change that's been happening with them. There's a lot of kind of realizations. I thought we had another one besides this. Let's see if we've got anything else down here. Nope. There's a lot of change that's been happening. They've got some new perspectives coming out, but here is kind of part of their original goal was to make an adjustment within their values, something that they were built by or they grew up with that needs to make a change. But for some reason, they're not catching the cues. With the Hierophant in the reverse here, this is guidance it's available for them, but they're not availing themselves of it for some reason. So they're kind of striking out on their own, but it's not going especially well. This is part of why you see some of these tactical errors like the self-destructive path. Seven of Cups here. So it feels like an emotional error, but it ends up being more tactical because they don't end up listening to this Hierophant. So with the Seven of Cups, this kind of gets into the heart of a little bit more of why we see an awkward path from them. And it has to do with them not truly understanding what their options are. There's a lot happening here emotionally for them right now, and they aren't quite sure how to read it. So you are someone who makes them feel comfortable and they would like to come closer to you. They're getting a little obsessive about the energy. And again, they want to come close to you, but they don't want to have to do this work. So what you find is the energy of somebody coming closer to you who hasn't done the work and is kind of suffering from having some incomplete perspectives. So new perspectives, to be sure, but some that it would be better if they'd had some opportunity to work through some things in the past. You will find them ready to kind of, this is a really strange energy because it has them basically making a mistake right off the bat. So they kind of realize that they have these options, but they feel nebulous as options and not quite sure which direction to take things. But they feel like they have to jump, they have to go somewhere. And if you reject them, they're going to say, fine, I'm going to do something abrupt. You know, there's something that happens, but it doesn't get very far. It's like a little burst of energy that gets almost nowhere. So if it's you, if they go to you and you are accepting of them, be aware you may be seeing an immediate burst of energy that looks like commitment and is followed up by very little. So this is interesting. I immediately get the advice for you to, if you have done journaling in the past, there's something very astute and well-timed in your journal or in something that you've captured. If you're one of those people who used to write me a bunch of notes or perhaps still does to journal your situation, go back and look at some of what you've written. There's something here that it's a little bit of a hidden gem for you. Okay, so that's going to be a matter of listening to yourself. Don't fall prey to not listening to good advice, even if it comes from the self, you know, the you of the past. So we have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is a sense of disappointment. So it's almost a crippling disappointment, though. Your person is having a hard time. This is the reason why this effort to move forward falls flat almost immediately. It's got a bit of a depressive feel to it and a feel of not being able to, it doesn't have more oomph than that, but yet feeling an immense sense of immediate judgment, and it is not positive what they feel. So it's like they strike out and immediately fall to their knees and feel like a failure, and it hits them. There it is. There's the Knight of Wands. That's that sense of starting but ending. Starting but ending immediately. It's got a little bit of that Page of Wands feel to it too, where it's got that sense of depressiveness comes in with that Four of Cups. And here we have the Knight of Cups. So you have a lot of knights in reverse here. My goodness, did you just get all 4 knights in reverse in a row? This would be unprecedented. So let's take a look at what this means. This is a person who has new information, has a new perspective, strikes out in a direction and really isn't ready. We see the fear with the Knight of Swords, the lack of readiness for a commitment or a consistent path forward with the Knight of Wands, lack of an ability to communicate properly with the King or the Knight of Cups. And then here, this is actually not a knight. This is the King of Swords. It had the big K and I got all excited. But the King of Swords has the inability, because this is an unbalanced King of Swords, has that ability or inability to make a solid plan as a result of this. So there's a lot of kind of, it feels like getting tangled up within their own limbs and having some issues as a result of that. Just kind of, it gets discombobulated and then very difficult to get back into place again or to recover from. We have the Ten of Pentacles here. Uh-oh, that's an offer. Yikes. Okay, you guys, this may be a direction change. So they're very discombobulated. They're making advancements your direction, not necessarily ready to do that, and it looks like they get an offer from this third party again. So it's a job that's given them a counter offer, or if it's a family member who says, no, I've reconsidered, I'm looking for a partnership. Somebody is coming back to them looking for partnership, and I cannot tell what they're going to say. Let's look into the extended about the bid for partnership that's coming in here for your person. That I feel like is maybe the main message that came in for them today. So we're going to look at this bid for partnership when we get into the extended. That is very significant, and we're going to use these cards specifically, I think. Let's go to the you portion of the reading, because remember, when we looked at it yesterday, you had some change coming that allows you to step into a whole new place, allows for an opportunity as well as the ability to jump in, even when you kind of don't really know where things are going to lead. So there's this sense of kind of no need to apologize. Knowing that you aren't going to be able to do everything. So if there's going to be some missed opportunities along the way, you're going to recapture those opportunities. You're going to be missing some stuff while you're smelling the roses, but that's the right thing to be doing. Let's see what else. So we've got the Four of Wands in the reverse, learning to live in what I would say is a very uncertain sort of an uncertain type of situation. I don't know. I'm not sure that uncertain situation bothers me all that much. I'm thinking this is something that you've seen coming a little bit, and your ability to handle this level of uncertainty is quite frankly pretty high. Yep. You've got the Strength card. This is like built-in happiness that you bring with you, and you are being encouraged to see it for what it is and not let anything put out the flame. Two of Pentacles in the reverse. It's a very similar message to the Four of Wands, but it's that sense of not being caught up and saying, you know what, there's a good chance I will not be caught up for a good long time, and I'm going to be okay with that. You've got the Star. You know you're on the path. This is pretty fantastic for you, okay? Because you know you have change coming. There is... there's a comfort within you, okay? There's a comfort within you that allows you to smell the roses while missing some opportunities that you know will be back again. When we looked into the extended, I remember that this situation expands your ability. The situation that you're kind of moving into expands your ability to deal with more, okay? So your foundation is less defined, like we see with this Four of Wands. But it's the tip of the iceberg. It's like you can't imagine the full picture. It would just be too overwhelming. So you kind of have to go with the flow. There's something big coming for you. Open your heart up to it and just keep walking down this path. You have earned this. Whatever this change is for you, this opportunity is for you. You've earned it, and it doesn't matter which direction you go at this point. You are solidly in a safe emotional place, and you are the one who can be counted upon to deliver. So you've done some kind of inner child work that enables you to do better in this situation. And not to say that you don't have more work to do, just you've done so much. There is so much already done here that you are not going to have to repeat. Remember, you have that test that we've been hearing about, and some of you have already seen it. It's a test that feels a little bit like you could have passed it a long time ago, but it's still been standing in the way of some kind of progress. So you pass it. I mean, it was super clear from go that you were going to pass this. And with the Strength here, it almost feels like you already have. Although, frankly, I know some of you are going to kind of be that way even before you approach this, because you've got so much good coming your way. And when you get there and you realize, here are the things that I haven't figured out, here are the pieces that I haven't mastered, because that's the Eight of Wands, or I'm sorry, Eight of Pentacles. It's about self-mastery. It's about mastery of something, working very hard. Here's work that you haven't done. It's like it's work you never got a chance to do because you were doing something else. King of Wands here. A sense of being able to, it's great leadership, but it's almost like you just don't need much in the way of leadership. You don't need anything to already have been started for you. You don't need someone to hand you the makings of something. You are prepared to move forward, and there's some growth that has recently occurred within you here that now you get to benefit from. So this is pretty fantastic. I think we're definitely, I'm just going to pick the cards up, shuffle them, and go into the extended here. But when we do, I want us to come back and look at the the situation where your person is being given some sort of offer. It's like a counter offer. So we're going to take a closer look at that. And then I also want to get a little bit of a, I know this may be asking for an awful lot, but kind of the bridge question for you. So to understand what it is that, like, what do you need to do to get to your next place? What does getting across that bridge look like for you? Getting to your next place. So that's what we're going to look at when we get into there. Not even necessarily that you have a big conflict that you have to overcome. Just what are the conflicts that you will be overcoming so that you can do awesome things as you are moving into this new opportunity, as you are crossing the bridge. And I know some of you haven't identified the opportunity just yet. So there are still several of you that are saying, wow, I thought I wasn't going to be one of them, but here it comes. You know, all kinds of interesting things. So be patient, because it looks like it's taking its time to come, and then it chooses you almost. But we know there's a soulmate involved in there. We know that there's been some discussion of that as well. So we'll get in and see a little bit more of what that is. Let's see here. So I definitely also wanted to kind of rehash the main points. I think I ran through everything, felt like, really quickly earlier. Just remember, there is no change on YouTube or Vimeo or Etsy. So any of the things that you've come to be familiar with, those things still happen just like they always were. So if you decide not to be a member, that membership is purely bonus. Nothing changes for you. But if you decide you want to do it, it is a more personal touch for those who consider themselves to be part of this collective and want a place to be with the others, to help each other go through things, to have conversations where you can feel like you're not having it in front of, you know, a bunch of strangers. It's a little bit different. And you can have a relative level of anonymity here too, where I know some were expressing that Facebook wasn't as conducive to that. Plus, like, we'll have some fun things depending on what kind of membership you choose. We have raffles. Raffles are available to anyone. Early access to readings in that second tier, wherever I can, where I won't be every day, but wherever I can, as well as like that personal monthly reading. I thought that would probably be the exciting one, because I know some people go for those anyway, and this would be a little bit of a discount for some of those folks. So just a little way to kind of bring those of you in. I see you who are getting the regular readings. This might make things a little bit easier for you. So it's a little bit different of a reading than what you see on Etsy, but it's based exactly the same way. And of course, you know, we're going to do the raffle for the free live and interactive reading on Zoom. So there'll still be that. So I think let's go ahead and go into this. We're going to start with your person here, and this offer, or this, it's like a bid for partnership coming from a third party. So this is something where they are being approached with a counter offer if they're leaving their job, and then they come back and say, well, is it the money? Maybe we can give you more money. Or it's somebody who says, I know I told you earlier that if you walked away, you would never be able to see your kids again, but I want to make a different suggestion. You know, I mean, there's something here that feels like a counter offer that is designed to bring in some partnership. So let's take a closer look at that. Okay, we have 5 of Cups. It preys upon a sense of brokenness and a sense of a former sense of unwillingness. So it makes this person that is making the bid the third party speaker. So if it's a job, there's a mouthpiece for this message. If it's a person that they're in a relationship, it may be that person speaking, but there's somebody here who they're really focusing on something that hasn't gone well in the past, and just making sure that that's the big piece for them, that they can really draw on that sadness. And they're trying to create a vulnerability that feels almost overdone to me. We have the 2 of Pentacles. The message that they bring does not go especially well. This bid for partnership, your person sees through it. Huh. They see through it. But I feel like they might take it anyway. There's the King of Wands here. Aha. Okay, they see through it, but they see it as an opportunity still to have some control over their own situation. What they may not realize is that this is an opportunity to remain in a position of control over them. So there's some sort of agreement here. With the Six of Pentacles, that's about equal give and take of energy. And so it can be an agreement that says, hey, if you'll do this, then I'll do that. But I don't know that it's a super trustworthy agreement. I feel like this is not the end of it. That it continues to be more complex or complicated. Nine of Swords, yeah, they know it. They see it as an opportunity for additional control, but they don't trust it as far as they can throw it. Those are the words that came out. Three of Pentacles, they do see this as a means to an end. So I think they are probably going to take this bid for partnership in some way. It could be engaging in the negotiation around salary or saying, all right, well, fine. If you're going to let me see my kids, then I'm going to kind of approach things a little bit differently and we'll see what we can work out. And so it feels like a bid for partnership that makes things take a little bit longer, but I also see that strong sense of your person just kind of seeing through it. That's interesting. Now, they feel like their hands are a little bit tied. So we've got the Two of Wands. With the process of this, there's something here that they needed to learn with you. Probably needed to learn with the third party, but had not so far. With the Two of Wands, I see this is kind of more new perspective falling into place for them. But again, they don't feel like they have a super choice about this. And there's a very, what would you do? That's an honorable mention. Like, what would you do in this situation? They think about what your response would be, how you would approach this. You may not hear much about it. There's a strong sense of secrecy around it and a strong sense of let's just get this done. Let's just get this done. Let's get this partnership done. I'm not buying into it. I'm not falling for this. I'm still kind of mad at you right now. But let's go ahead and get it done, and we're not going to tell anybody. So you may notice some interesting behavior from the outside, because I don't think that they're going to want to talk even a little bit about what's going on here, even to you. They've got the Chariot, a strong fire lit under them to get something done. And then the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, this is something that they don't want to let go of. So there's something in it for them. And this person knows it. That's why they've approached them with this type of partnership. Okay. Well, I mean, this is somebody who knows them relatively well, or at least has some idea of what their needs are. And remember that a third party in this context is somebody who has impact on your person's world enough that it's impacting you. So it could be somebody that's been there for longer. It could be somebody that is romantic, could be non-romantic, could be family, could be work, could be any number of things. But it's something that is impacting them and their energy such that they make decisions that impact you and your relationship. So they can be thinking about you while at the same time they are doing something to re-engage this partnership with this person. But I think it ends up pulling them into a place where they had a choice and they decided to re-engage. But it's not engaging on the same level as before. There's still a pretty significant lack of trust, I feel like, here. Still a strong sense of discomfort, not really... They don't want to engage this. They don't feel comfortable with this. This lack of trust, this lack of overall comfort, there's no warmth in this. So even as this person comes back and says, can I make a deal with you? Your person is feeling emotionally very standoffish, but I think they're entering into something that becomes much more difficult to exit. So this deal matters, and they had a choice, but they choose to do something that kind of, instead of takes the pressure off, actually maybe puts a little bit more of that pressure on. Let's go ahead and get you an oracle card with regard to this, because sometimes we ask the question when we see things happening with your person, so what does that mean for you? What is it that you most need to know about this? And you've got this sense of new beginnings. So there's new beginnings all around. Let me see what fell here. Okay. Yeah, we got that sense of new beginnings, the Daffodil Fairy. New beginnings all around. So let this person have this new beginning here, because there's something significant. We have been talking for a long time about lessons that they haven't learned with this third party that they need to in order to be successful, even enough to even walk away. So we see the proof that these lessons still have not been addressed here, but with the new beginning that happens here, it kind of brings them in for another round of some sort of interaction with this partnership here, but it's in no way permanent. It just takes longer. It is, though, going to give them some of the healing that they need. So everything about this feels like the partnership, the application for partnership is made, they take it, and hilarity ensues, but not really hilarity. It feels pretty uncomfortable. It feels like they are going to, they're going to have this new beginning. They never trust it. They see through it, but the healing does happen. So there is still something pretty positive that ends up happening there. My question is time frame, because it doesn't feel quick. Okay, so that's kind of what's happening with them. Let's take another look at what's happening with you, because this was your bridge question. It's like the reading that we just did set you up for, wow, everything is fantastic. You have this great perspective as you move into new situations. And I'm super impressed with that. But then what? Okay. Because everything that comes up, you've always got some other bridge that you've got to cross to get to the place where you ultimately want to be. And just because you've come to a new place does not mean you've resolved everything. So what is it that you need to resolve, or what is on this bridge between you, the energy where you are now, and where you're going? The Hierophant. So there's guidance for you. There's guidance that we just saw the Hierophant come up in the reverse for your person. And it was guidance that would be useful for them, but they're not taking it. So there's guidance available for you too. We saw the edge of that. Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Look for the places where you still have some self-doubt. You may be hiding them from yourself because you've done such a great job with so many things. But there are some other things in there, kind of like that test that I was talking about, where you have to pass the test, but it's not going to be hard. It's something you could have passed a while back. Queen of Cups, continuing to lead with your heart. So you're doing something that has you leading with your heart. You have a place where you could potentially choose to be less vulnerable. I don't think you're going to do it. I think you're going to say, yeah, that's not the end of the world. That one, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to lead with love, lead with my heart. Five of Pentacles. So it's about seeing the edges of your healing. On this bridge, you're going to need to challenge yourself, because you do have a pretty good situation going on. So keep pushing. There's something here about continuing to move forward, even when things start to get a little bit more comfortable for you. And I don't feel like you really have to be told that, if I'm totally honest. So you have the Eight of Pentacles here in the reverse. We get it. There's a place that that some additional mastery is going to be required. And so that's something that's come up. It came up in your other reading too. The one that we did a few minutes ago. So we've got the Magician, both of you. So I felt like there was a little bit of a link between these energies, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I feel like this is probably the strongest piece of it, because there's an element of them being pulled into this partnership, or whatever this is being described as, a partnership. It's about them being kind of pulled into this partnership, but not really feeling like they truly have a choice in the matter. And with the Ace of Wands, do you truly allow things to go forward? Or there's something here where you're going to have to put a hard stop on something. And it's not necessarily comfortable. Like, you might look at it and say, wow, a few years ago, I would have had to put a soft stop on this, or I wouldn't have had the guts to say it. But here it's very much like, you realize the need for this, and you're just gonna have to do it. I don't think it ends up being that big of a deal. I think you end up doing it. You have the strength to do it. That's the strength card. Good things happen as a result of this. And you walk away and say, well, just like I suspected, that wasn't so bad, or I was going to do it anyway, and I'm glad it wasn't so bad. You know, I mean, it's got this feel to it, like you never really doubted yourself. It's the same kind of feeling of, even though a few years back you might not have had the chutzpah to do this, you've had it for a while now. I would say that. There are still some truths for you to find within yourself. So that's the Ace of Swords in the reverse. All of this points to, even though you've made fabulous progress, keep making the progress. Do not allow yourself to become remiss. As you move through this fabulous new opportunity that's here for you, enjoy it. Enjoy it, but don't think it's the end of your growth. Page of Cups. So this Page of Cups is more about listening to a message than anything else. It's got a little Page of Pentacles in it because it's about being open to a lesson, but it's about being able to listen. If your person does come to you and you know that they're coming to you unhealed, your ability to listen to the situation is going to do well for you. Your ability to pick up what you put in your journal that has a lot of value to you now, but at the time maybe just kind of had maybe more limited value to you. It's important that you take the time to listen and to smell those roses. Six of Pentacles, you're not always going to be treated properly, and you're going to be able to look at that, judge it, judgment, walk away from it, and be able to handle it. You will adeptly handle those who, we are rolling now. You will adeptly handle those who do not bring you proper treatment, equal give and take of energy, who do not lead with love. You will continue to lead with love. That's what this says. When you are on this bridge, it's really a matter of you growing into yourself in those places where sometimes it can be easy to just sort of fall off and say, wow, why is it like this? I feel really bad about it. In other places, in going forward, I think you're going to feel more like, you know what? I actually understand what this is and what it isn't. I see the edges of my healing. Still got healing to do, but boy, is this better than it was. And now I can give the communications and share the messages that I need to share. So here with the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, this is about looking at places where you still need to develop yourself, still need to put in some investment. Look for that and be prepared for whole new places that make you a little bit on the uncomfortable side. Part of that's going to be addressed by this opportunity that's coming your way. But since you've got a soulmate that wants to help, but you might not yet recognize them or know how to accept their help or ask for their help, there is going to be some work here for you in that. That's one of the things this Hierophant has come out again. It was a message that came out for you earlier, both of you. It was a matter of, hey, there are messages here that are going to be useful for you. Try not to miss out on those. Okay. Well, then we've got the Three of Pentacles. Okay, so with the Three of Pentacles, it's a recognition that that feeling that things work really well that you were having, and that was kind of the energy of now. That Three of Pentacles came out. One of the things that I would say is that that energy of things working out is something that you carry within yourself increasingly going forward, and that's part of what's kind of on this bridge, is your ability to carry that and to feel responsible, to feel like you're ethical and doing the right things. You can sleep at night. Yes, this Nine of Pentacles that was an honorable mention over here was very much a put this in the deck because it has to come out over here, and I forgot about it till now. But I should have said it belongs over here anyway, because it is truly, truly about having some things together, feeling comfortable, even in that situation where maybe you do lack some information and you do lack direction. You do all right not knowing which way you're supposed to go. can make most of those decisions yourself, and you can carry a pretty heavy load. But the trick here is to make decisions about what you're going to carry and what you're not going to carry. Decisions are key with the Two of Swords. With the Ten of Wands, though, it's about this load getting a little bit heavy and you saying, you know what, I'm far more capable of carrying a load than I was in the past. But I'm not just going to do it because it's there. Needs to be for a good reason. So you have some decisions to make about essentially what constitutes a good reason. Okay, let's see what else here. This is you. This is all you, and feels like it's all bonus. Six of Wands. Okay, just in the reverse, it is a reminder that there is still ground to cover. This is not a done deal. You still have work to do, even though you have done such incredible work. And just kind of rounds out the message that we've been getting there. With that Hierophant, hey, there's going to be guidance for you here. This doesn't feel like you have to rush through any of it. And obviously now I want to get you an oracle card. I should probably say that before I pick it up. I'm just kind of rolling. But yes, I want to get you an oracle card for this side too, because this is, we've been reading for you separately here a little bit from your person, because your person is in such a place of having to work through some things. It's relevant to you, but it is not your whole picture. You do have some pretty exciting things coming up for you, and the name of the game here will be focus. You have the Wizard of the Woods. It's a card of focus, and it's about being able to do what you came for, do what you came to do. When you make this decision, this is the focus that is required to carry it out. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. This energy for you continues to feel very helpful, or healthy rather. I think that, you know, continue on that right path. There is no need to rush, but think through what you do and allow, but not too much. Like, don't get in your head, but allow yourself to use that logical side and that emotional side. That's going to help you to identify the edges of your healing and to be able to say what you need to say and walk away unscathed. Because that's essentially what's on this bridge, is the ability to walk away from a difficult situation without too much pain. Then over here, remember, you've got your person kind of going through it. They're going back into it, really, with this partnership. So let's see what comes from that. It looks like there's beneficial lessons, but they may take a little while to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. You'll hear from me again tomorrow, and probably you'll hear from me the whole rest of the day in the if you decide to join, because I've decided that with the exception of places that I have to be, and I have places that I have to be, but I wanted to devote some time to it, at least this afternoon and this evening. So I will see you over there if you decide to join. It's that join button right next to the subscribe. I'm super excited about it. I hope to see you there. I hope you love it, and I'm totally looking forward to it. So talk to you soon, or talk to you again tomorrow.